And coming out tonight on Newsnight, Power Distribution Services (PDS) taps itself on the back as it reports an unprecedented reduction of debt, increase in revenue collection, and improvement in power supply for the last 4 months. We have details as committee tasked to interrogate PDS concession breaches prepares to present a report to President Akufo-Addo. But what really is your power situation? Does it tally with the report we're reading about? Let us know.
I think the last time it was like Papa.
Maybe what they are saying is true, but I doubt they've improved.
Currently I think it's okay.
Also, Keta Circuit Court adjourns case involving 2 self-styled pastors who allegedly kidnapped and raped an 18-year-old lady at a flower in the Volta region.
They usually beat me with planks when they want to have sex with me every day. Then they gave me a drink. When you take it, your stomach gets very hot.
We have details as investigators plead more time to continue probe into the matter. The Joy Clean Ghana campaign kicks off in Accra this week, but we'll take you to Kumasi, where scientists have found dangerous levels of disease-causing organisms in drains there.
And in business, Chamber of Petroleum Consumers challenges government to deal with fuel smuggling rather than increasing prices of fuel.
And later in sports, Black Queens wrap up preparations for tomorrow's Olympic qualifier second leg against Gabon. We get more details from the Accra Sports Stadium.
And we are counting down to the biggest gospel event in the country, Adum Praise, this time at 10. And the Vuvume Hitmakers Bethel Revival Choir are promising a night of ultimate fun.
You should be there. You're not coming there to just enjoy the music. You're coming to experience God. Come, dance all your troubles away.
You want to join the squad this weekend? It's Friday. You can't miss it for anything. New headlines on Newsnight is brought to you by Eden Heights. Welcome home. You want to join us with your views and comments? Send me a WhatsApp 0244 340437. My name is Evan Spencer.
I am MFA Powell.
And Newsnight is always brought to you by Puma Card from Puma Energy, cash-free convenience. Now, the Power Distribution Services (PDS) is tonight touting its performance for the past 4 months, describing the feat as unprecedented. The power distributor, which was cited for concession breaches, says debts inherited from the Electricity Company of Ghana (ECG) has been significantly reduced. Increase in revenue collection as well have gone up, they say. Now, the company, while waiting its fate following the investigations into the breaches, it also says power supply for the last 4 months has been stable by up to 30.6% compared to same period in 2018. What do you know about this? I want to hear from you on this on Newsnight. Send me a WhatsApp. MFA, you have a copy of the PDS statement.
Okay, so this is the PDS operating performance report. It's covering March to July 2019, and it says that in the first 4 months of PDS operations in the Southern Distribution Zone of Ghana, the following operational improvements have been realized. 1, the average number of power outages a customer experienced from March to June 2019 is 18.43 times, and that's a 20.5% improvement over the same period in 2018, where a customer experienced 5 more power outages. So it's comparing what we know in this year 2019 to what we saw in 2018. And 2, it goes on to say that the average duration of power outage a customer experienced from March to June 2019 is 17.26 hours. That's a 30.6% improvement over the same period in 2018, where a customer experienced additional 8 hours of power outage. Now it goes on to talk about power purchased by PDS. It says that increased by 5.29% compared to the same period last year when it was still under ECG. It doesn't give us the figures that it is comparing it to, though. It goes on also to say that the energy sales increased by 1.32% compared to the same period last year. It also says during this period when it was discovered that energy sales are being affected by a negative energy sale caused by excessive aggressive bill estimation thwarting any supposed growth as a result of increased power purchased by PDS. Then on to revenue collection, it says that it increased by 4.87%, and that's to 1.86 billion Ghana cedis from March to June 2019 compared to the same period last year. Then outstanding debt issues also comes up in this report. It says that in 5 months of operation, ECG's outstanding debt of about 3.3 billion Ghana cedis, which was steadily been increasing over the past 3 years, has been reduced by over 1 billion Ghana cedis, and it describes this as an unprecedented feat. Now, PDS instituted a task force team for commercial and technical loss reduction to manage and reduce system losses of the distribution system and to develop an integrated and comprehensive system loss reduction plan. Now, PDS says it has also set up another task force to unplanned outage reduction to develop and implement quick win strategies and programs to reduce the frequency and duration of unplanned outages caused by faults in the sub-transmission and distribution system. That's the operational report.
And we know that PDS itself is still under investigations. We understand that investigation is complete. You've been working your sources on this, that the government gave itself 1 month. 2 teams traveled. One went to Qatar, other went to the US. They are back with their report. But there is also the MIDA angle. We also heard that MIDA had also hired its own consultant to look into the allegations that there have been breaches in the procurement
which
of
was
the
backed by the US government
guarantees.
as well.
Exactly. All that needs to be wrapped up very quickly. I understand that the government side is done with theirs.
They are done with it, and we are told that the president is supposed to receive that report later this week today, and we're hoping that we could speak to the Deputy Information Minister, Pius Hajide, on this matter, on this particular report, we're told.
Let's speak to Ben Boachi, Executive Director of the Africa Center for Energy Policy, ASEP East, on the line with us. Mr. Boachi, thank you for your time here on News Night. This is PDS still under investigations, and the figures that they're producing seem to suggest that they've done quite a great job. They themselves say it's unprecedented. What's your take on their own assessment?
Those are interesting numbers, and these are numbers you would expect from the regulator. So it's good if issued some numbers out, which will be subject to verification going forward. Immediately, we are not able to ascertain the numbers, but these are things that we expected PDS to do. It would have been reasonable for them to also add how much money they have invested in the system, because ultimately that is why we gave them the ECG, for them to invest to ensure that they are retooling the operations of ECG. If they are not showing the investment and they are achieving that much, it tells you that if they're able to put in money, we would see much more from them. So the questions that are being asked about their financial capacity to actually invest is still relevant. Whether they will be able to put in the $508 million that is required. We haven't had answers to that as we speak, and we're not being told now that they have invested any money to ensure that they improve on the systems of ECG. So, PRC probably will be the best agency to, at this point, give us a verification of those numbers that have been churned out by PDS.
On the subject of the investment that they have to make into the energy sector, I thought the contract gave them a certain leeway not to make investment of up to a certain period.
The contract is strict on the investment requirement. From all the documentations that we have seen, they are supposed to invest about $125 million in the first year. So they've done about 6 months thus far, and that requires at least about $60 million should have been invested if we're doing monthly assumptions here. So on any document that we have seen, we don't see a waiver of the investment requirement, except to say that we haven't seen any investment yet.
So you're expecting that by the time they're done with a year, they should have made that investment which was written into the contract?
They should have spent $125 million for the first year.
At this moment, we haven't heard yet what the outcome of the investigations will be, but it's very clear from their statement that PDS is still, with all for more intents and purposes, very well in charge of the distribution and collection of revenue, etc. And yet we're told that at the start of the investigations that ECG will take over.
Well, the arrangement is so bizarre, but from where we sit, we see it as PDS working for ECG because it's ECG that has the license to distribute power as we speak. You remember PDS license was suspended by the Energy Commission. So they don't have license. They're only operating on the license of ECG. So we would assume at this point that whatever they are doing on the back of the license that ECG has to actually distribute power until government comes up with the investigation that we're told was ongoing. And then we will see what decisions will be taken post that. But as we speak, PDS doesn't have operating license to actually distribute power except what they are running with on the ECG's license.
Okay, so here we are, still waiting for the outcome of the investigations that government launched into this. Knowing what we know now, and all that PDS had claimed they didn't do, what's your own expectation now that we are hearing that investigation is done? Government gave itself a 1 month period, that is done. They're waiting for MIDA's own probe to come in, that they can consolidate. What's your own expectation of what will happen now going forward once we know the outcome of that? What do you expect to happen?
At this point, we're hearing the speculation, and I don't know whether what we're seeing from PDS feeds into that speculation, that maybe they just want them to continue and then find a solution to the forged documentation that came up. We're hearing that PDS itself is saying it was deceived by our Kut insurance. So we don't know yet whether this is part of that speculation to actually give credit to what we're going to be hearing in the coming days. But we will wait for that official announcement to be made, and then we can share positions on that.
Thank you very much. That's Benjamin Boache. Benjamin Boache is the Executive Director of the Africa Center for Energy Policy. Listen, you are the ultimate judges of the figures that the PDS has put out tonight. Do you feel it in your homes? We've been speaking to a few of you on the street. This is what you told us.
In fact, for me, I don't see any difference. And I can bet you ECG, old ECG or PDS, whatever, is the same staffs who are doing the same work. So
we are really impressed. I can't remember the last time we had a power outage. It's always on, yes, as compared to other. My friends complain a lot that in their areas they have lights, but they don't have lights. But
so compared between last year and this year, you think it's improved?
Yes, it has really improved. It's really better. At least you wake up in the morning and you are rest assured you can iron and go anywhere you want at any time. It's not like previous years. Yes.
For me, I can't really tell whether they've improved or there's been any change, because for my neighborhood, it's been the same. It's been the same. Our lights weren't really going up that much, so I can't really tell. But I moved to Takrade in December, and I came back just this May, and it was very bad in Takrade. It was very, very bad. The lights just kept going on and off, so it even made working there quite difficult. So if situations in Takrade have improved, then maybe what they are saying is true, but I doubt they've improved.
Oh, okay. For the ECG, they used to call it Doomsaw, right? So it was like, it was not okay, but compared to right now, no, this one is worse. Why? And because I stay at Kumasi, Abrepo. The Doomsaw over there is too much compared to the past.
How frequent?
Oh, I think the last time it was like Papa. It can even destroy your fridge, your television, and those stuffs. So they should work on it.
Oh, currently I think it's okay, because as compared to last year, there were lots of cards, shortages and all that. But this year we're experiencing a maximum good one, and I think if it continues, we'll be very glad.
So you hear there some of your views on the latest figures put out by the PDS whilst we await that report. Also, like we told you, going to be presented to the president. We are told that media is also supposed to make some inputs into it. Then we'll have a final report being presented to President Akufo-Addo sometime this week. Now, on to some other issues.
You can expect your fuel prices to go up this week. I know you consume a lot of fuel because of
just
your
like
big vehicle.
Because of your bigger vehicle.
I mean, and you may be feeling it very soon. There have already been reports that some of the oil marketing companies have hiked their prices. You understand that is going to be reflecting across board sometime this week.
Okay, so Joy Business reported that more major oil marketing firms have started adjusting their prices for the various petroleum products at the pumps. The latest is Total Oil, which has also reviewed prices at the pumps in line with the revised energy sector levy. George Riafi has been following up on this development and explains why this is.
You remember when the finance minister went to parliament to present the mid-year review and the supplementary budget? There was a portion where he raised concerns about trying to improve revenue, and you could realize that some of the energy sector levies that actors dealt up on the various petroleum products were reviewed by up to 20%. Now, if you work out in CD terms or in peso terms, that will be resulting about 20 pesos on each litre of petroleum product, being petrol or diesel. Now, we understand that the National Petroleum Authority last week communicated to these oil marketing companies to start applying these levies on the various products, and that is why some of them, the major ones, for now that we can confirm, have started applying these levies. And that is why if you drive to any service station per litre, you could be paying about 5 Ghana cedis, 38 pesos, or 5 Ghana cedis, 39 pesos.
So does it mean that we have over 100 oil marketing companies going to review their prices?
Well, Charles, what we are looking at right now is the major oil firms like the Total, the World, the Allied, and Shell, because these firms control a chunk of the market. So when they move, there's a likelihood that the other players also might follow. So even though we are talking about this, there's a likelihood that some of them may still stay their price, because the argument here is that maybe you can keep your price stable, and the more volumes that you sell, that could impact on your profit. But some are saying that we've had more players in this sector, and therefore you have to be tactical in how you go about reviewing your prices.
Now, Executive Secretary of COPEC, Duncan Amoah, is asking government to reverse the decision and focus its attention on blocking the leakages in the petroleum sector.
We are asking government to refocus their direction if indeed it is the case of revenue that government wants to increase. We are asking that the government takes a second look at its possible revenue sources, one of which we have pointed out. Our report, the NPA's report, Chamber of Bulk Oil Distribution report, over the past 3-4 years. If you put together, Ghana has lost in excess of 4 billion from the fuel smuggling syndicate. And so if it is the issue of revenue, block the fuel smuggling syndicate today. You would not need to collect from us 400 million cedis for the rest of the year and some 1.4 or 1.3 billion for the whole of next year, when you can actually block the revenue leakage and easily make about 1.6 billion. So we should move away from the revenue debate if it is indeed what it is.
Should we expect an increment in fuel prices this week?
As I speak to you, some OMCs have already increased their fuel prices. The majority others who have not increased give us an indication that they have old stock, which they haven't finished selling. But any other loading as we see currently is coming with the new taxes being enforced. And so there's no way the OMCs will shelve the new taxes of 20 pesos per litre or almost 1 Ghana cedi per each gallon. There's no way they will shelve this 3.7% increases. So expect that by close of week, virtually all the OMCs would have also moved to the new prices that the new taxes introduced.
Well, have you seen the increases at the pumps tonight or today throughout the day? If you have, share with me on WhatsApp 0244340437.
And a number of you have been commenting. Evans asked that you send your messages via WhatsApp on 0244340437, especially on that PDS performance over the last 4 months. They've painted a rather beautiful picture of their performance so far. And some of you have sent your message. This one from Musa Abatwa in Kumasi says, Evans, which stable power supply is PDS talking about? They shouldn't insult our intelligence, assuming without admitting they perform creditably. So we should allow them to continue working this despite breaches of procurement laws which amount to corruption? That's a question that Musa Abatwa in Kumasi is asking. And Berima Kubaji in Jenny says, is it the same PDS that's supposed to have been suspended and being investigated as issuing statements touting its so-called achievement? It is the same lights that keeps tweaking that they are talking about. He's asking. There are prepayment meters that eat power. Prepayment meters eating power, he says.
So, listening to Newsnight, and a final one says, good evening, Evans. Media should spare us the charade. We want to hear these things from PULC. Such a joke. Alfred Motte, Santa Maria, sent us that one. And the final one says, my light bills are 3 times more than it used to be. And what is this scandalous PDS saying? They should stop this shameless face-saving gimmick. Maxwell sent us that message there. Still ahead here on Newsnight. Keita Circuit Court adjourns case involving 2 cell-styled pastors who allegedly kidnapped and raped an 18-year-old lady at a flower in the Volta region. We have that story for you here on Newsnight when we return from this break.
Make a quick call. So you're still on that network that gives you fair data and talk time, where Vodafone has double the Red 1, Red 2, and Red 5 offers. For 5 CDs, Chikra. You get 250 minutes to call all networks, 250 megabytes data, and more.
I'm moving to Vodafone today. Switch to Vodafone to enjoy double Intusor on red bundles of 1, 2, and 5 CDs. Enjoy double talk minutes to call all networks and double data to browse. Vodafone always gives you more. Dial *200# to subscribe now. Terms and conditions apply.
The future is exciting. Ready? Thank you, folks. On my A list today, show some love for Contractor EB. So, Contractor, what do you think about the country's changing skyline?
Oh, send them down there, Shayuma. Across skyline, they change you, papa.
Wow. Contractor, don't you get worried when you hear of buildings collapsing?
I'm out for an answer on Tassam. It is the likability of using low quality product.
Please explain why.
Yeah, cement is no quality on the gasem. Village of Fefe. It was built with gasem. Says the gasem is your construction. Osi ho pumping. She N1, KJT Market, Kotokana Kumasi Airport, Cape Coast Stadium, Atwabu Gas Project in Gasebo. Messi, what the quality? You know what is quality?
Gasem, 3 cement grades, greater value. Gasem, the nation builder.
King of my heart, my one and only. You've been working hard, though. Shouldn't we travel with the kids to relax? Lodge in a 5-star hotel, go on a boat cruise. Don't worry. With Visa, we can get amazing discounts on summer treats, tickets, and tours in UK, Dubai, and USA. Where's that flyer, Seth? See, we could also win home appliances when we spend at least $500 or its equivalent in any currency abroad.
Offer open to all Visa card holders till the 13th of September 2019. Visit africa.visa.com for more offers. Ask your bank for an instant Visa card today. Terms and conditions apply. Visa, everywhere you want to be.
So with this promo, we can win some home appliances and I can finally have my peace.
Thanks for staying with us here on News Now. Now let's head to Keta, because the circuit court there has adjourned to September 16 a case involving 2 self-styled pastors who allegedly kidnapped and raped an 18-year-old lady at Aflao in the Volta region. The teenager was allegedly kidnapped in April 2019 by 2 young men posing as pastors who sought refuge in her mother's home. Precious, not her real name, says she was sexually abused nearly every day while in captivity for 4 months.
Well, her captors also compelled her to take concoctions in an attempt to abort the pregnancy that resulted from the multiple sexual assaults. Komla Dom and Ivy Setoji have more in the following report, and a warning that some of you might find the report disturbing.
They usually beat me with planks when they want to have sex with me. Every day.
The pain of an 18-year-old girl kidnapped from Aflao and raped multiple times by 2 men posing as destitute pastors on a mission from Nigeria. For 4 months, Precious, not her real name, was subjected to sexual abuse by her captors who baited her with a snack.
My mom instructed us to go and get the pizza. When we went, They gave me malt before getting to where we'll buy the pizza, and I drank it. I never knew what was happening anymore around me.
This is all she could remember after having the drink.
I was found in a room, naked, and I was bleeding. They took a picture of me naked, and they showed it to me that if I eventually decide to tell anybody, that they will send the picture viral.
After weeks of being held and abused, she got pregnant.
Then they gave me a drink. When you take it, your stomach gets very hot and you start feeling very bad. What I want is that justice should be served.
Her mother narrates how her act of kindness to offer the self-styled pastors a home opened her family up to the incident.
The first day they came, they were smelling like people that came out from prison. I clothed them. If I did not brought them in my house for helping them, my virgin daughter will remain virgin.
Precious sums up her experiences. As she spoke to me, tears rolled down her cheeks.
I don't like the way I'm feeling, and I don't want someone else to go through that same pain. I wish that justice should be prevailed so that at least I can have a better life again.
According to her foster father, Dr. Mesl Nunu, a collaboration with some young people in Aflao led to the rescue of a girl from a hideout.
The mother decided that he would get the area boys to assist. We used a bait. As soon as they saw the boy, they dragged the girl into the room and locked the door. They just broke the door and ran out, and the police came for them.
Her parents say several hospital visits from Akachi to Kolebu in Accra reveal she has severe lacerations in her private parts.
So the doctor said that the substances they have given her have scattered the child, and also having a wound in the womb. The here also is having a very big wound.
The day we went to the place, she almost collapsed. We have been to 4 hospitals, from Akachi to Oklobite Clinic, from there to Akawi. They said no, the thing is serious, so we have to rush to Kolebu Teaching Hospital.
It's been a tough 4 months she would want to forget in a hurry, but her ultimate dream would be to have the suspect severely punished for taking her virginity and her being.
I don't want it to repeat again. I don't like the way I'm feeling, and I don't want someone else to go through that same pain and that same...
The 2 men currently in custody are to be put before the Qatar Circuit Court Monday as the state begins prosecution on the matter.
So as you heard, Komla Adum and Ivy Setoji in that report, they were to be put before court earlier today, the 2 suspects. And Komla Adum joins me in studio with details from the court. So we understand the case has been adjourned to September 16. What reasons were given, Komla?
Well, according to what information we have, the investigators who are looking into this matter pleaded with the court for some 2 more weeks to continue some more investigations, especially to go back to the crime scene where the young girl was rescued, to carry out some more investigations, after which they will be, ready to arm themselves to begin prosecution of the case proper. So that was the reason why the case was adjourned. The judge also granted the request by the prosecutors.
So let's talk a bit about the demeanor of these 2 suspects.
From what we gather, they looked like people who hadn't even done anything. From what our correspondent tells us, they were nonchalant. They were in a pair of t-shirts over a pair of jeans. They came in courts, their hair kempt. They're not looking like they were worried at all. They were sprightly, briskly walking about. So just they fell short of saying anything. Okay. But then from their demeanor, from what we understand, they didn't look like they'd done anything wrong at all.
Not too worried about them though, but how is Precious doing?
The last I spoke to her mother, she says they had just returned from the hospital, and they're going to be undergoing a series of reviews because of the severity of the injuries she suffered in her genitals. The gynecologists at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital have been seeing her on a regular basis. The last few weeks, they've been frequenting the hospital every week to undergo the reviews. And so her mom tells me that she's getting by, but it's been traumatic for her.
Was she in court today?
She wasn't in court today. The lady is still in Accra, but her mother was in court.
Okay. Komla, thank you. Komla is following up on that together with Ivy Setoji, and we'll bring you more as and when we get it. It's time now for business, and George Riafe has the very latest. You're preparing for fuel hikes, are we?
Of course, and there are still issues about that. The Chamber of Petroleum Consumers have been speaking about this. They are questioning the government's commitment to raising more revenue from this area. They believe that the government should rather work on dealing with smuggling of fuel, and also the Institute of Chartered Accountants to take action on auditing firms that worked on the accounts of the 7 collapsed banks. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one stop shop for all your office essentials. And First National Bank, we are the bank that understands your business. First National Bank, how can we help you?
So everyone says I'm a Kosia filler, but it's not like I'm nosy or go out to find out the latest filler. It's just that I get 50 megabytes of data free after paying for only the first minute of every call. And so I just keep discovering stuff minute after minute. That's how come I was minding my business, scrolling through my timeline, and I found out Coco has a new baby. Oh, and last week, I learned Ken won the lottery. You see, Ken is my brother's friend. So hello, look who's about to roll with the rich and famous.
Enjoy even more value with MTN Free After One. You only pay for the first minute of your call on MTN Free After One, and the rest is free. Plus, you enjoy free 50 megabytes worth of data to browse your favorite sites. So dial *315# to sign up. We day for you everywhere you go. Terms and conditions apply.
The Kingdom Books this year back to school promotion is in conjunction with Citidia Supermarket. Buy school items worth 100 Ghana cedis from Kingdom Books and get 12% discount voucher to purchase from Citidia and vice versa. School items include textbooks, pens, pencils, erasers, exercise books across all Kingdom Books branches in Accra, Tema, Kumasi, Takoradi, and Cape Coast. Kingdom Books, where quality and affordability is assured. For further information, call 0302 764209 or 0302 746101 and 0501 401050. Terms and conditions apply.
Imagine living in a world of comfort and luxury. In a well-planned and gated community with access to an ultra-modern sports complex which has Olympic-sized swimming pools, football, basketball, athletics, and gym facilities. I'm talking about Eden Heights, the new destination for luxury in Ghana. Eden Heights is developed with the highest grade of finishing in our penthouses and our 1 to 4 bedroom apartments, and is located close to the beach resorts along the Atlantic Ocean, about 30 minutes drive from the airport and 5 minutes walk from the West Hills Mall. Eden Heights is the ideal location for luxury. Visit us at edenheights.com.gh or email to sales@edenheights.com.gh or call us on 050-153-1444 or 050-153-1445 for more information. Eden Heights, welcome home.
Ago, my people, the Electoral Commission announces that the exhibition of the Voters Register comes off from Tuesday, 10th September to Tuesday, 17th September 2019 from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily. All those who registered from the 2012 up to 2019 registration exercises should go in person to their polling stations to check if their names and particulars have been properly captured in the register. Go with your voter's ID card to facilitate fast checking of names. If you have lost your ID card, you should still go and check. Go to the polling station and have all your complaints resolved. Help ensure a clean and credible voters register by helping to remove names of deceased relatives. Come along with burial, death or obituary notice to help clean up the register. Let us help clean up the voters register to ensure free and fair election. Remember, the exhibition of the voters register comes off from Tuesday, 10th September to Tuesday, 17th September 2019 from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily.
Joy 99.7 FM.
You welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers is challenging government to deal seriously with fuel smuggling if it's really committed to improving revenue from the sector. The call follows a little over 3% increase in prices of petroleum products. Now, this was as a result of the 20 pesos energy sector levy that was placed on diesel and petrol from today. It follows the increase of these levies as captured in the supplementary budget. Let's listen to Duncan Amor. He's the Executive Secretary of the chamber.
Are we increasing taxes because of revenue?
Maybe that's it, yeah.
No. If it is revenue, then the government is missing the point altogether. Because there's a clear evidence of a lot of revenue allowed to go through individual pocket because of this fuel smuggling situation. So today, every 5 liters of fuel you buy, 1 liter is illegal fuel, which means that if you look at what we've published over the past 4 years, what Seaboard has published over the past 4-5 years, what the NPA itself has calculated the past 4-5 years. NPA puts last year's figures around $200 million. That's about 1.1 billion, right? We had our projected figures around 1.6. Seaboard had their figures around 1.4 billion. Revenues lost to the state that we should have collected from the petroleum sales within the country. We let these revenues go, only to go back to the Ghanaian trot taxi driver and say, we need to recoup 300 million. Whereas 1.6 billion is going into private pockets because of the fuel smuggling syndicate. We have said that the president should step in and stop any senior government appointee or person involved in this fuel smuggling. If that is done today, tomorrow there may be a certain price parity across pumps.
Duncan Amwa is the executive secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers. Now, the Institute of Chartered Accountants is expected to soon take action on auditing firms that worked on the 7 collapsed banks. Now, Joy Business is learning that its council has approved the recommendations of the disciplinary committee that was set up last year to review the actions of these auditing firms that worked on these banks. Sources say the council is likely to endorse the recommendations of the disciplinary committee to sanction the affected auditing firms. However, persons close to the institute have also maintained that the actions actually didn't directly contribute to actually the banks going down, but rather whether they poorly failed to supervise them. Remember that last year, the institute actually set up this committee to review all the works of these institutions to ensure that they did the right thing and ensure that the integrity of the profession is maintained. Now, government has given the firm assurance that it is committed to actually retrieving all the money from the directors of the defunct banks and financial institutions. The assurance follows concerns that payments of depositors' funds have delayed because of the challenges in securing the assets of some of these banks. Receivers for the first set of banks that were liquidated have argued that they've just realized a fraction of more than 1 billion Ghana cedis that is expected to secure. Now, speaking at the Baptist Convention program in Kumasi, Finance Minister justified the first tranche of payment, that is 10,000 Ghana cedis for depositors of these defunct institutions.
So the minimum we did was to say that everybody will at least get a maximum of 10,000 cedis. Okay, and so that at least most people's monies were not. So the first cut was then to say, why don't we make sure that 10,000 cedis there, Obia Benyabi, and then you have the receiver. The receiver then goes to see whether he can collect the money that the banks place in wrong places, and then after you have received that is before we can distribute that resource. But even in that instance, we are having to spend some 14 billion cedis. You know, we talk about free SHS and it's like 2 billion cedis a year. We have spent 14 billion cedis to be able to give people's monies back to them and make sure that our banking crisis was contained. So yes, the expectation is that the receivers will move strongly to recover these so that we can then begin to give them back to the bigger depositors.
Finance Minister Ken Ofoyata. Now, ratings agency Moody's says the shift towards mobile and internet banking will always go a long way to reduce the cost of banking in this country. Now, this development could go a long way to impact positively on the country's credit rating that is pegged at B3 with a stable outlook. The report by the Bank of Ghana showed that more financial institutions are moving towards electronic-based transactions for payments and deposit mobilization. Now, this development could mean that going forward, the rating agency could take an action in Ghana with more of a positive action that could go a long way to ensure that when we go out to borrow, we could get some positive or favorable rates from the international institutions out there. And that's all for business on News Night.
Thank you very much, George Riafi, for the very latest from the world of business. A number of your comments that you've been sending in via WhatsApp on 0244 340437 on Top Story. Evans asked what you think about arming policemen on the streets, or those in the MTTD, whether they should be armed or not. And a number of you have been responding to that as well. Latif from Laboni says this isolated case of shooting an MTTD officer shouldn't be justification for arming all police officers mounting traffic. Attempts to arm them will be a recipe for chaos, because the police have been unprofessional in handling guns, leading to government paying huge compensations at places like Aswase in the Ashanti region. And James from Konongo says it is needless to give them weapons. And Kweku in Ogbojo says if you arm the policemen on traffic duties with guns, which hands will they use to direct traffic? And this one also says giving guns to police officers on traffic duties will do us more harm than good. And finally, this one also from Asamoah in Saum says, Evans, we should not be supportive of this knee-jerk reaction, else the police wielding arms will end up killing innocent Ghanaians. They need training in human psychology first, he says. Some of your comments.
It appears that there's a lot of attention and interest in that police story, but I also want to hear from you on the PDS story as well. What's your own experience with the power situation currently and your own interaction with the PDS? Send me a WhatsApp, 0244 340437.
We move on to some other stories now. It's time to talk about sanitation. And we know that sanitation affects all of us, no matter who you are. And in many Ghanaian cities and towns, poor sanitation is a major problem that authorities are grappling with. Well, your superstation, Joy 99.7 FM, as well as our multimedia sister stations are partnering. The Accra Metropolitan Assembly, as well as other metropolitan assemblies, to embark on a campaign that will seek to ensure behavior change as far as sanitation is concerned. And it's called, Evans?
The Joy Clean Ghana campaign. Araba Kumsen coordinates that, and she's in the studio with me. So sanitation is a big issue, and we all know successive governments have grappled with it and how to manage it and ensure cleaner cities. So it is a problem. We all know that. But tell us why we decided to embark on this campaign.
Evans, first of all, do you know how much we spend annually, tackling sanitation in this country?
Absolutely no idea.
Okay, well, the statistics indicate. In fact, the sanitation minister recently revealed that we spend about 260 million cedis every year, just tackling filth.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. And so clearly that shows you the scale of the problem. I mean, it's reached alarming proportions, and we need to find a new way.
But that's
of
interesting.
We're
spending all the money, but we don't seem to see the results on the ground, and the place is still very filthy.
Exactly. But we do realize that a major part of the problem is the lack of enforcement of sanitation bylaws. And so what we're doing is partnering with the AMA. What they are going to be doing is that they would be, visiting locations. They would not notify the residents. What they've told us is that they have embarked on a sensitization, how do you call it? A sensitization
drive
exercise.
To get people to,
exactly.
to
so
know
people
what to do and not what to do, what the bylaws say.
Exactly. So the next step is to enforce the laws. And so that's what they'll be doing. So what happens is that every week we will be going to an undisclosed location, and just to ensure that people are adhering to the sanitation bylaws. And if they are not and they're violating it, they will be arrested and sanctioned and most probably prosecuted.
So that is a key thing, the prosecution. I guess fundamentally also you want to, then the process, get some behavioral change. I guess that's going to be the big question.
Exactly.
How specifically you can
We're
can
hoping
do that.
By sustaining this exercise and showing people that others are being punished for actions or like indiscriminately, dumping waste. It will deter others from doing same. And so once this exercise is consistent, and the AMA has expressed its commitment to ensure that it remains, committed to this program and exercise, and that we are also going to ensure that it is sustained. We're hoping that it will, cause some behavioral change and, deter others from doing same. So it's going to be a sustained exercise. Once a week, we'll go out there with our cameras, will be live action, and we'll be putting it out there. And so we encourage everyone to join the conversation. If you see anyone dumping waste indiscriminately, take a picture, send it to us, and we'll go to the location, and hopefully we'll make Ghana clean one community at a time.
The thing about it is, and as we stay on this a bit longer, in Kumasi, where our sister station JoyFM have already been teaming up, doing something very similar there. They've been doing this already with the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly Sanitation Enforcement Team for the start of prosecution of public toilet operators and institutions cited for indiscriminate discharge of fecal matter into public drains. And this comes as scientists at the Kumasi, the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology say they have found what is described as dangerous levels of disease-causing organisms in drains in Kumasi, to be very specific. They warn the situation exposes residents to life-threatening diseases which can ultimately take a toll on the city's life expectancy. Erasasari Donkop, who has been a man working with the KMA as part of this broad sanitation campaign that the multimedia group has launched, has the following details.
At the core of Kumasi's sanitation problem is open defecation, littering, and reckless discharge of liquid waste from homes and institutions. At Adum, persistent dislodging of effluents from the Kumasi central prisons into drains continues to irritate traders and other members of the public.
Yes, sir. When they open, no one can stay here. Everybody will run away. Even we are selling, no one can come here to sell. No one will come here to buy. But even today, the one they did today, today one is very worst. It was to the extent that even me too, I ran away. I leave my goods and run away because I can't withstand it, sir.
It is an age-old problem with us. Over there, the prisons, they have a tank inside, and they normally open it in the morning, early morning, or deep in the night, for the effluent to pass through just behind the toilets over there.
Open defecation in areas like Asafo Cold Store area, Dagomba Line, and parts of Abuabo is an eyesore. Besides the physical nuisance is an underlying health risk which has attracted the attention of researchers. Professor Mrs. Isi Ewa says the trend is alarming.
We have analyzed the wastewater in our drains, and we have seen that most of the people are discharging their septic tank waste into the drains. So we have all kinds of pathogens, ascaris, eggs, hookworm, tinea, schistosoma, and then we have coliforms, and then we even have salmonella bacteria, which causes typhoid fever in our drains because of how we are disposing of our human feces.
The KNUST Regional Water and Environmental Sanitation Center is facilitating training for municipal and district environmental officers in Kumasi. It is aimed at equipping the officers with knowledge, skills, and competence on how to design, operate, and manage sustainable sanitation technologies and fecal sludge treatment systems. Director of the center, Professor Samson Odro-Kwatin, wants city authorities to financially support poor households to build toilets in order to reduce open defecation.
Going forward, we should be able to maybe support these low-income communities, the indigenous communities, to rather acquire these toilets in their homes instead of the current promotion, the 50% subsidy. Those who are really patronizing and taking advantage of this opportunity can really afford the 100% of the cost.
Desist from discharging effluents into drains. Make Kumasi clean again.
Well, the Joy Clean Ghana campaign is on this week, starting on Wednesday. And in the studio with me is my colleague, Hans Mensando, who's going to be partnering us in this as well. I know you are very... you like the white shirt. There's something that this boxer said about white shirts.
A man cannot be careful unless he buys a new car in a white shirt.
Yes, a man.
Yeah.
So that's what it means. When you start approaching dirt and filth and working, then you know that white shirt is very valuable because you cannot play in that. So join us on that campaign as we launch it this week. But let's do some sports now, Hans. What's in the headline?
The Black Queens have wrapped up preparations for tomorrow's Tokyo 2020 Olympic qualifier second leg against Gabon. Goals from Juliette Chiampon, Portia Boachi and Press Lottery and the Black Queens a 3-0 away victory in the first leg, and they expected to dispatch their opponents and move into the next phase of the qualifiers. Benedict Owusu was at the Accra Sports Stadium and comes through with his report.
All players trained ahead of their game tomorrow, and Coach Mestego and the girls have
been speaking about one thing, and that is to ensure complacency going into the game tomorrow. Having won away by 3-0, of course, many will expect them to run riot over the Gabonese side, but they believe that this is a team that has a record of going away, to win their games. Specifically, their last game against DR Congo, they lost at home in Libreville and went away and won, which got them to this stage. So they are very much aware of the threat posed by this, Gabonese team, and have done everything according to the coach going into the game tomorrow. So they are very hopeful of a good result tomorrow here at the Accra Sports Stadium.
Well, 3-0 from the first leg, the Black Queens lead, and they go into tomorrow's game as heavy favourites at the Accra Sports Stadium. That's your sports.
Thank you, Hans Mensah Ando, for the latest from the world of sports. Now, former President John Dramani Mahama has lamented the poor state of the Damankouk-Bassa stretch of the Eastern Corridor Road. Now, construction works on the 70-kilometer stretch has stalled since 2016. Now, this is one of the many projects the NDC running mate, the NDC candidate, has been inspecting on the tour of some regions in the country.
Well, last week he chided government for abandoning some E-block projects as part of the Community Day Senior High School that he started as well. Now, a claim we know that government has now vehemently rejected that it's not true. Well, a caretaker on the site, this is his latest inspection of the road, a caretaker on this particular stretch told Mr. Mahama and the national chairman of the NDC, Samofu Swampofo, they have been redundant since construction stalled several months back.
You were working before we lost power?
Yeah, that was in 2016 we started the work. It was ineffective. We worked like how we were supposed to work. But in 2017, that was when I was recruited. By 2016, I was there. By 2017, I was recruited in this work. So we were working to some place like in September that way. It's like the work got down. And in 2018, we started the work like bringing the chippings and things from Prachi. And then we started the work working in some parts. It's like the work is like it stopped. We work like 1 week, then we stop. And then up to now, we've not seen anything again. We've not worked for some. Like we begin 2019, there's nothing like work. Even resuming work is difficult. Workers, they came back, it's like, since there was no work, so they have to go back.
And so you are just here as a caretaker of everything?
Yeah.
You are looking after the machine?
Yeah.
So you had the NDC chairman and former President John Dramani Mahama interacting with the caretaker on that Eastern Corridor Road. But former President Mahama said the project should have been completed by 2018 if government had paid the contractors.
And it was divided up between several contractors. We did the Nkwanta to Dodi Pepesu stretch. That was an EU funding. And then you have from Dodi Pepesu to Jasikan, then Jasikan to Hohoi. All these had contractors working on various segments on them. The contractors' main complaint is that many of them have not been paid for 3 years now. Since 2016, they've not received any payment. And there's no way you can continue working when you don't receive any payment for the work done. This is a very critical road because all the yams and maize and other agricultural products that are grown in the northeastern part of the country come down this road to the markets in the south. And so I think that government should, gear up and pay the contractors so that the contractors can come back onto the road and complete it. The intention was that by 2018, all segments of this road would have been completed and the road would have been through. But here we are going to 2020 and still the road is in a poor shape. If you look at the one we just came on, what they had put on half of the road is the final chippings that they put before they put the asphalt on it. And cars have started walking on it. So now if you want to go back on the road, you have to repair that surface again before you can put the asphalt. That means it's going to cost more, to be able to finish the road than it would have been. It would have cost if the work had continued.
So that's John Mahama. He's been touring the OT region there. We tried to get a clarity from government. We've not been successful yet to get them to respond to this. As and when we do, we'll get their reaction for you. But John Mahama has been stirring some controversy as he tours. He was in the northern region, was he?
Exactly,
when the nursing training allowance matter came and we saw nurses
apologizing to him, wailing on the floor, amongst others, apologizing to him for voting against him following the cancellation of the nursing training allowance. Now, the Tertiary Education Institution Network, TAIN chapter of the College of Nursing and Midwifery, Nalerugu, says they stand by that apology to former President John Dramani Mahama. You know, they've come under some bashing after that video went viral.
That what they voted against him as nurses because of the promise by the then candidate Nado that they will restore
it following its cancellation by the previous government. So they've been speaking to us. We can hear from the team president of the institution, Daniel Achambu, who says he will be vindicated after the probe.
The reason why we came out with that statement as TAIN and as NDC a whole in the institution over there. Regarding to that, the 2016 election, all just came about, not him winning, was just that we the nurses have turned against him. We didn't vote him due to the cancellation of the allowance issue. And this, our super incompetent government, MPP, let me use that word, says that they are going to restore the allowance fully for us. They didn't restore the allowance fully.
Now, if you say they didn't restore the allowance fully, what exactly do you mean?
Fully. Before they came into power and then they were to restore the allowance, we were expecting them to restore 450 Ghana cedis each student per month. And currently, each month we are receiving 399.225 pesos, 399 Ghana cedis. There has been a cut down on the allowance. And before they took over from our governance, they indicated that they are going to post our nurses immediately after completing. And as we speak now, others, our colleagues, 2 badges are still in the house. They are not equipped. They are not still moved to the world to work as nurses still. My worry was that if they are saying they are going to restore allowance, then they should make it sure that we sign a bond. And that bond, there's always a bond form signed before you go for allowance. And inside that bond form, your assurance of posting is also indicated. So immediately after completing, it's a mandatory on the government to post us.
Well, and this is the TAIN rep for that particular part of the country, and the TAIN is a youth wing sort of in these tertiary institutions for the NDC. Daniel Achambu, he claims that he's been invited by the BNI over that incident where they got trainee nurses to exit school and do politics, so to speak, and that he would not honor that particular invitation. Well, something is happening on Friday.
Yeah, it's 10 years of Adum Praise, and it's happening at the Perez Dome, Perez Chapel this Friday, Adum Praise 2019. And there's an ever sensation in town. I'm sure you know their songs, do you?
I have no idea.
Bethel Revival?
No.
You don't?
No.
When was the last time you went to church?
I do church at home.
Have you heard Vovo Le Vovo Me?
What's that?
Have you heard Neho?
No.
Oh,
that's what I'm looking forward to going to.
Okay. So Nancy Emefajadosi puts it all together in this report.
If you're like me, you need to pay attention to this and buy a ticket for Adum Praise.
President Akufo-Addo there in 2017 singing the popular era song Akpemi Adana Mau. But lately, there seems to be a new preference.
Vovole, 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 de la Yesu tobenye.
This has become the newest favorite for many, and though they may never understand the words, they are always ready to dance to it. The Bethel Revival Choir has been the new face of era music, bagging awards including the Gospel Act of the Year at the 3 Music Awards. Guess what? They will be live at the Perez Dome this Friday for Adum Praise.
You should be there. You're not coming there to just enjoy the music. You're coming to experience God.
Yeah.
Yes, through music. And so come dance all your troubles away.
How are you guys appearing on Friday?
Traditional.
Oh, for my way,
you have no choice than to bring your white handkerchief when they treat you to some good bobobo. Come and let's dance. Miva nemia due.
Anamadon kunyo yesu wanamchila. Nyara kama li magwani o. Nebe magwani ba akpa. Ayatama ba yeswe mahoy.
Oh, now you know it.
What does that mean, by the way?
It's like a chant, a war chant sort of, yeah.
Oh, that I know. That I know. Anyway, that's all going to happen when?
This Friday at the Perez Chapel. Of course, you're coming with me, aren't you?
Oh, of course. And so far as you promised to teach me the words as they sing
Let's start with Vovome, and that is freedom.
Okay.
And this one, they say that the Lord is lighting. There's a fire in me, and no one can, burn it. Like, put it out. So.
Akwesia.
That's
it for News Night tonight. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
I am MFA Paul, and Nana Ansakwa is up next with That's My Opinion. Guess what he's talking about? Ghana needs one more minister.